How are you all?
Fine, sir. How are you, sir?
Yeah, fine. Thank you. Rupak, we got permission from higher ups to conduct the event. So, recap, in the last session we have discussed DOS attack, permanent failure of hardware, is a requirement of reinstallation of hardware in case of DOS attack. That much of severity will be there with the DOS attack. Denial of service attack. And also we have seen the blended threat. It's a combination of virus injection of viruses, worms, along with the DOS attack to, to the target machine. Today we are going to learn about the DDoS attack. Usually DOS attack may be targeted to an individual system or a machine or a single network. So in case of DDoS attack, usually group of computers or the group of humans or the group of robots trying to attack a group of systems. It is from huge group to huge group of attack, refraining the target from the intended service. Usually, this type of attack it uses bot systems. Bot systems. So attacker use your computer to attack another computer. So here the target might be different. With the help of their knowledge, technology to compromise your system, since your system has the vulnerable or weaknesses, they're taking your system into their control and they're using your system to attack the other computers over the internet. So in this way they are hiding themselves from attacking scenario. So you will be under trouble in if it is traced. So by taking advantage of security vulnerabilities or weaknesses, an attacker could take control of your computer, then force your computer to send huge amounts of data to a website or send spam to particular email addresses. Keep on sending the spam mails or the ping packets to flood the targeted computers. The attack is distributed in this scenario. Distributed denial of service means multiple computers to launch the DOS attack. So large number of zombie systems are synchronized to attack a particular system. Suppose, for example, let's take the example of supercomputer. So in Bangalore, around, according to my knowledge, 3 to 4 supercomputers are installed. Suppose if you want to target the supercomputer, the name itself tells it is a huge memory, huge performance computer for so many number of so many number of records is going to be processed in a milliseconds. Huge data processing happen with the supercomputer. Suppose if you are trying to go with DOS attack to the supercomputer, the power is more than your computer, may you are not going to succeed with the DOS attack. So what you are going to do is now you are synchronizing the some of the PCs which is available over the network, and you are taking those synchronized computers with your control and launching the DOS attack. Here the victim is the supercomputer. The attackers are the collection of computers which will be controlled by the attacker. Usually zombie systems are called secondary systems, secondary victims, because even your system is going to commit the crime. So again, you are termed to be as a victim, but not the primary victim. You are become a secondary victim. The primary victim is here the person who has the supercomputer in our example. So this type of the attack is distributed denial of services to refrain the service from the intended purpose. Means you are not allow the people who wants to use their purpose of their services resources. You are preventing them to use those services. So this type of attack is termed to be as a distributed denial of service attack. Now, yes, after knowing DOS and DDoS and what is the possibility of threat and severity of threat, then we are going to know how we can prevent them. How to protect from DOS attack or DDoS attack. So implement root filter. So every network which will have the routers installed to route the packets from source to destination. Root filter by implementing them. Invalid ICMP packets are the huge packets which is not handled by the router or the destination system, or it is going to install the fragmentation software to fragment the hues into the chunk of the packets, and it is going to filter out the unwanted packets like not properly designed packets, spoofed packets, all those things that will be filtered by the router. By implementing the filter, at some extent you can reduce the DOS attack. You cannot eliminate the DOS attack because as we aware that individual system usually have the basic firewalls. Individual networks usually suppose the company which is running the business of online services of 10 system, their cost of investment, running cost for the company, they can hold at up to 50,000 per day. If the cost of the security implementation exceeds the per day limit of the budget, probably they are not going to install the security measures because it exceeds the budget what they have in their hand. In such situations, their system under the trouble. Not only DOS, there is several kind of attack we have seen so far. So they are using, attackers are using such kind of the systems to compromise and launching the attacks. If such filters, root filters, are available in your system, install patches to guard against TCP sync flooding. If router filter is available with your system, always keep updating those router filters whenever the update patches are released. Otherwise, there is a chances of finding vulnerabilities in the existing filters. Here, filter is not like a physical filter like tea filter or the coffee filter. It is again, filter is also a hardware combination of software which filter out the incoming packets and outgoing packets, which is harmful to the entire network. As you are aware of TCP SYN flooding, it is one kind of attack. Incomplete handshaking attack. Here the sender sends the packets through the spoof ID, then receiver accepts it and sends the acknowledgement till it received by the source, but source never receives that packet. The destination never receives the acknowledgement received by the source. Then there is an open connection between the source and the destination. That open connection is going to be exploited with the help of DOS attack. But nowadays, because of several technologies like sessions, cookies, maintaining sessions, timeout sessions, etc., and so on, such kind of DOS attacks are being reduced. Disable any unused or inessential network service. Whenever you are using internet, if you are not using the internet for longer period of time, like more than 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, if you keep your system idle, there is a chances of your system is going to be carry out some task without user knowledge by the attacker. They can use your idle system which is connected with the internet as a some bad purposes. So try to down the service if you are not using the service, either Wi-Fi service or observe your system performance and establish. So sometimes your system may comes down the performance. In those situations, usually we are going to scan the system for any virus are present in our system. So if the performance of system is slow, you are checking for virus with antivirus programs, and sometimes you are clean up the disk space to speed up the computer performance. Sometimes you are uninstalling the less used softwares from your system to increase the performance, or sometimes you need to do with the computer management. So to launch this one, you can use the shortcut key Windows key plus X. Windows key plus X, here computer management. It will open up the computer management. You need to monitor the some of the services, system services, whether it is needed or not. You can bring down some of the processes which is running behind. You can also identify the if any unwanted which is not noticeable from you, or it is not noticed, but unwanted processes are running. If you are finding, you can stop them to improve the performance of your system. Let's take one of the example here in my system. These are all the some services which is happening. Some see here, some of the services I disabled since I'm not using those services currently for my system. So that's why it is disabled. Routing and remote access I'm disabled since I don't want to allow others to access my system without my notice. Remote registry enable, it is also disabled. Remote access usually in the local system it is by default is disabled. If you want to make it, see here, you can see here disabled the net TCP port sharing services, it is disabled to avoid the attacks. Some of the services which is not needed and it is vulnerable to the external users, you can disable such kind of the services which is running. So disable any unused or inessential network service. Observe your system performance and establish baselines for ordinary activity. Again, you go with the system network connections and the task manager service. In the task manager, you observe which are the programs are running, and 98% of the disk it is utilized. So you can go with performance. You can set the threshold frequency. If that reaches, it should notify. If it exceeds the frequency bandwidth which it is using, then you will get notified. Let us say here the Wi-Fi frequency throughput 1 Mbps, output throughput is 1 Mbps. Currently the usage is 800 kbps. The receiving is 32 kbps and sending is the fluctuation between 500 to 650 mbps. Threshold this frequency. Open resource monitor. Here you can network. You can monitor TCP connection between 0 to 20 Mbps. Here 60-second monitoring this one with 0 to 1 Mbps and the local connection. All the network related information you can obtain from this. So if you don't want to run this service, select this service filtered by Chrome. So filtration happen here. Which image or the network activity you want to filter, it is going to be get filtered. You can add the system filter also like that. Either you can do it manually or sometimes hit by default the Windows system. When you install the services, usually it is going to be filtered out. You can also observe here the firewall service, firewall status. This kind of process RPC, remote procedure calls of system service, RPCSS, process ID 884, IP address unspecified, that is IP address unspecified means it is hidden. Port number it uses is 135, allowed or restricted, both the status it is showing. So another IP, system IP 137 port is used. You can also find out which is not the system which is trying to access from outside. If you are able to identify such ports, you can disable from this monitoring system. Okay. In this way, you can control the network accessibility and the filtering the packets by setting the system performance, and so by watching the performance of the system in the network monitoring. Routinely examine your physical security. So physical security like entering the authentication user ID password. Usually your physical security passwords are present in the SAM database. Usually it will be present in the SAM database like and NTLM database in the Windows systems. Whereas in Linux system, shadow file, it consists of the hashes of the authentication of the systems and the root users. So continuously, routinely once in a week or once in a month, try to check suppose suppose antivirus is running or not. If it is running, usually it is scheduled for 7 days in a week, or the one fine day in a week, it is going to be scheduled itself automatically and it will run at the background service. Suppose still if you have a if you don't have a satisfaction of running that antivirus, you can go with custom scan. You can go with custom scan like protection or the performance issue. Then go with the, if it is paid version, go with the driver update, cleanup premium, etc. and so on. Use tools to detect changes in configuration info or other files. So there is a cleanup software. I can show you. There is a CC cleaner software which allows you to clean up the unwanted and broken registry. While uninstalling, you might not be uninstalled the relevant registry which was installed along with the software. Sometimes it may uninstall all the registry files, sometimes not, because those registry might be used by some other software which is running. So such registry files needs to be cleaned up then and then. Otherwise, it occupies unnecessary space in the system. It affects on the performance of the system. Use tools to detect changes in configuration info or other files. This is one software. I'm not promoting this, but it's a one software. It helps to detect the changes in the configuration information or the other files. Invest and maintain hard space, that is accessories like the Trojan remover, virus scanners, malware detecting software, cleanup utilities, memory performance improvement utilities like CC cleaner, so etc. and so on. Then you clean up the temporary file using the percentage temporary file which will be resided every time when you start using the system. Temporary files are going to be generated to process the activities. So there are two kind of templates: percentage temp, percentage temp, percentage. It will open the temp folder. So one more that command is temp. So here the Windows related backups are going to be formed here using Windows temp. The previous temp is the user temporary folder. It is a user temporary folder. You can observe here the user Shiva app data local temp. When you use directly the temp option, it is going to take you to the Windows temp. So operating system temporary memory. Similarly, then and then you use the prefetch command to clear the prefetch applications. It clears the, it improves the performance of your system. These are the things routinely you try to follow to improve the system. Use the defragmentation and clean up utilities, clean the entire system. For example, if you go with this CCleaner, it's time for your PC's health checkup. It is expecting me to upgrade. Okay, here just observe here. Health checkup, custom registry clean tools, options, upgrade. So if you go with health checkup, it is providing some the status of the system information of current my local system information. Based on that, you can use the service. For you go with custom scan, it will show the Explorer, Internet Explorer, and some of the cookies, internet files. So just if you go with analyze, it is going to analyze the applications, and the Windows related files is going to be listed to clear out them. So in this way, it improves the performance of the browser, performance of the system, and Google Chrome needs to be no. I want that to use, right? So art spares like these kind of tools you can have in the system, but be careful. Sometimes that these tools come up with the malwares. Since it's a open sources, or the if it is a free software, if you are downloading means there is chances of adware, malware and malvertising piece of software code might be present. Be careful, otherwise it gathers the information about your laptop and sending that information to the company for their companies. So be careful while using such softwares. Invest in a redundant and fault tolerant network configuration. This is a very important. Redundant means unwanted bucket, means similar kind spam emails. One email coming so many times, number of times for you to uh, just to prevent you to use the regular service. If your email is flooded with the same number of emails, thousands of emails, in such case if may be important, if you are waiting for an offer letter from the company, but so many emails are dumped in between, then how you are going to find? There is a option there in the system. It's called as search bar. It's a filter bar. Through that you can able to locate, but sometimes there is a chances of losing the important messages between the junk messages. So try to invest on redundant and fault tolerant network configuration machines similar to the filters. Establish and maintain regular backup schedules and policies. As I said here, there is a option called as in Windows sec policy, security policy, sec policy, secpol.msc. security policies like user settings. This is the security setting of the local security policy of your system. You can allow the password policy. You can go with password policy, enforce password history, maximum password is 42 days by default, minimum password. Suppose if a person you want to allow uh, to access your system, then you give your system with the restricted policies. So local policy, user rights assignment, for example, you here suppose if you are a root user, you are allowed to do whatever you want to do, installation, uninstall, everything it is allowed. Suppose if you created the user, so to create the user, so I will show how to create the user. For example, uh, right click on the C drive. Here there is a term quota. Probably you might not observe this one. Quota management. Here show quota setting. You can limit. If you go enable, you are limiting how much data or the how much disk space you are going to assign for a new user. So before that, you create the user first. You create the user first. You can also see here the Windows firewall. You can set the Windows firewall settings also, whether you want to allow or not to allow. Any security connection security rules needs to be followed. If any device if you installed, you can locate that device and control the access policy of that device. So inbound rules, outbound rules of that security. Oh, those are not allowed because I'm the user, not the admin. Right. Uh, Security options, accounts administered, account status enabled, guest account status disabled here. If you are providing this laptop to their usage, administration rights are disabled for that guest account. They come as a guest and use as a guest, and they can exit as a guest, not as a admin. Okay, see here the devices restrict CD-ROM. How the security policy management. Suppose usually in the institutional system, some of the options are not allowed you to access, like CD-ROM, pen drive. How they are disable the external devices. They are going to use the security policies, and they are disabling some of the services like this. From that, you are prevented to access the USB device or the CD-ROM, etc., and so on. This is local security. There are two kinds of policy windows in the Windows setting: local security policy and a group security policy. In the group, suppose if you are running an organization for to provide the access to the employees of 10 employees, then you are going with the group policy. Or usually you are suppose only one user is going to use for temporary access, you are using the local user policy, so local security policy. You can change the password policy as you desire. Suppose if you want to keep the password change for the 100 days, once in 100 days it is going to notify you about the password setting. Okay, you can minimum age, also you can password length, you can restrict password length minimum. For your company, if you want to restrict for minimum 10 character, you need to apply for the password. Okay, password must meet requirement, you can enable it. It will ask according to password, mixed mode of characters, lowercase, uppercase, special symbols. It is going to check, means validation is happening here. Store password using reversible encryption, it is disabled. not to recommend, because attackers is going to use this reversible that is decryption techniques to decrypt. So that is disabled by default. Okay, depends on your purpose of the uh, purpose of access permission given to the guest user of your laptop or the desktop. Now you can use the security policies settings in the Windows machine, and you can set the policies. Let's have this one. User usr user management. So mgmt. Computer management. This computer management. In the computer management, here you can see local users and group users option. Go to the users. Here right click on the user, new user you can create. So username for example is test user or guest user. Today's today guest. Let us say the name of the user is today guest. For example, SKT is the today guest. You can provide the password. Password is 123456. Confirm 123456. You see, observe here one more option. User must change password at next logon. Default password set by the company or the system provider is 123456. Because it is a weak password, to do not to allow the other guest user using the same passwords, though you notify the user who is going to use when he logs on into the system next time. He has to by force is asking him to change the password. If you don't want to allow him to change the password, just you disable this. User cannot change password is another option. Password never expires. Suppose it is 12345. You don't want to change that password for longer period of time. You can enforce this policy. Or account is disabled. Once the user logged out system again using the same credentials, that person is not allowed to access the system. Account is disabled. This is you are restricting a particular user to use your system only one time. Okay, after creating the user, use the refresh. New user, today guest, SKT, description for one time use, password 456, account disabled for one time use. Create this. Does not meet the see when I enforce the password requirement, the password does not meet the password policy requirement. What password is required? It's a mixed mode of the minimum length. Minimum length I set in the password is 10 minimum length. So you go with the password like more than 10 character. Create it. The password does not meet the minimum requirement. Again, still I need to use the special characters. I was not used previously. create the user. Now this user, today's guest, one time use only. Description: today guest is created, that user is created. So again you can now go with the quota management. Go with the quota management, how much disk space in the current system that person can be used. So for that you go set the quota, show quota settings, enable quota management, then uh, here limit the disk space, how much of bytes that person can be used. You can allow 1 GB of the data. Once when it reaches the 1 GB, it is going to be notified to that particular and log event when a user exceeds their quota limit. Log event when user exceeds their warning level, means whatever you they do that. Suppose they are downloading the 10 movies, so by using your system they are hacking some other account, they are trying to copy the entire, they want to make the image of the remote system and downloading it to the current machine, means that is not possible because you restricted that user for to make use of only 1 GB. More than 1 GB, that user is not unable to do some illegal activity by using your computer. Okay, you can restrict the access management using the quota entries, and also you can restrict the security policy. In the security, just now we have created the users, then go with the users, whether you are allowing them only to read and execute, allow, remaining you can disable, the full control you can deny the full control, just only you are allowing them to read and write. So which user you want to allow, you go with this add user option, then here advanced option. In the advanced option, find now. So when you find that all the users which is going to be listed here, uh, the user which we have created just now is guest account, right? Guess. So check names, guess, click on OK. You can restrict, allow them to use only for read list. They are not supposed to allow to execute the code or modify the content of a system. They are allowed, they are denied, only they can access the read permission you can provide. Read or writing is denied, means modification is denied, but read permission you can. In this way you can filter out the networks and group settings, policy settings to the user, etc., and so on. You can perform and control the access of the user machines. I hope I made you understand about how you can provide the, you make use of policy settings and security settings in Windows to restrict the user access to your system. Establish and maintain regular backups and schedules and policies. Then establish and maintain appropriate password policies. Just now we have seen how to set the password policy, enabled, restricted, minimum number, and number of days. After 100 days of that password usage, it is going to be expired automatically. It will ask you to re-enter the, recreate the new password using the old password policies, etc., and so on. This is about how to prevent the unauthorized user to enter or penetrate into your system by updating your the security policy settings to the new user. And also you are limiting the disk usage from your current system to avoid to avoid if that user might be an attacker or the malicious intended user. he may going to use your system for bad purpose, means he will be the victim because your system IP will be traced. So you must be very careful when you are handing your device to some other user. If you trust with such kind of persons, then hand over that devices to them. Otherwise, try to avoid to give up your laptop device or the mobile smartphones to others to use that one. Otherwise, you will be the victim, since everything as you are aware that IT Act 2000 committing just stealing the information or buying the gadgets which is stolen by somebody and selling as a motive, and all such will be comes under the criminal activity. If you steal unauthorized access, also you will be under punishable. All the IT Act. After knowing that, you must be very careful. So while handing over your electronic devices to the somebody. Okay. Any questions are there? Any questions are there? I hope I made understood. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Fine.
Yes, sir.
So after knowing that, another kind of uh, DOS attack or the DDoS attack or the malware or the virus or the worm, usually it is going to be targeted onto the directly the software which is installed on your laptop or the desktop or the smart devices. Now there is another kind of attack. Usually it is carrying on the web pages, web technologies. That is the program which has uses the HTML technology, XML technology, the PHP, such kind of attack. Usually it is the SQL injection attack. So the SQL injection, the name coin SQL is because the attack happen on the databases using SQL queries. Select star from so and so table. That query is applied on to display the information present in the table. So if you use the same, you can use the same query for the attack scenario also. So we will see some of the example of SQL injections to exploit the websites for testing, not the real-time websites we are going to use. Those websites meant for testing purpose. One of the website is like Testfire. You can check Testfire is one of the website. Another website is Damn Vulnerable Web Application, DVWA. DVWA, Damn Vulnerable Web Application. So yeah, that's another site. There are several websites are there to allow the hackers to practice how the injection attack can be happen. To bypass the authentication of login pages, you can enter directly onto the accounts. The purpose of SQL injection attack means to retrieve the database, to compromise the database. Once if you compromise the database, you are going to gain the access of the database to retrieve the customer information. As we seen in the information is beautiful, what they have attacked. So the website information is beautiful. In this information is beautiful. it is providing the which are the accounts are compromised, right? Which are the company accounts are compromised. So here it is showing that what it is showing. Usually the attackers penetrate into the databases of the social accounts. What they are accessing? The customer information. So many trillion of records are breached. The meaning is that instead of accessing one account at a time from the individual user side, they are attacking the databases of the social accounts. You can observe here Facebook is the highest number of users are there. When you look into the Facebook data leak, when you move the cursor place onto the Facebook, it is providing the information of so much of credentials of the databases. See, records lost means what? The records which is found in the Facebook database, like phone numbers, name of the locations, name of the full names of the customer who uses the Facebook, email addresses, biographical informations of those 533 million users. Scraping is one more tool is available over the internet. It is going to retrieve the site information and save it in the form of the Excel table. We will discuss about the scraping tools. Around 2 to 3 tools are there. How to gather the information gathering in the websites and websites for initial information. We'll discuss that also a little down the line. Probably tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll do that one. Scraping tools. Okay, so Microsoft 250,000, 50 millions of record lost, customer record supports. So usually customer records are stored in the databases, right? So if you go with attacks, if you compromise the database using the SQL injection, then you can easily exploit and you can sell that customer database to the public to make money, but still you will be traced. If you are using the anonymous accounts and spoof id, it is still traceable, but it will take little more time than the regular attacks. So injection, it is a SQL injection is a code injection technique that exploits a security vulnerability occurring in DB layer of application, database layer of application. It is also known as SQL insertion attacks. Alternate name for injection is insertion attack because it uses the SQL query to attack the systems. So since most of the times it targets the SQL servers, the objective of this SQL injection is to obtain the info while accessing the database table that may contain personal information, right? So SQL injection is a malicious code inserted into a web form field. So we are writing nowadays, you are learning, right? HTML. In that HTML, you are writing, learning the form tag. Form action equal to the target web page, method equal to get or post, right? So malicious code is inserted into a web form field. Form field is action. You are replacing action to redirect the website from the original site to the another site. You are using that form, exploiting that form action method by injecting the malicious code into that, and it redirects to your website, and you are forcing the users to enter their credentials in the login page. Through that login page, they might be use the keyloggers or the spywares to fetch the information what and all you are going to type in those websites, malicious websites, they are collecting your credentials using those websites with the help of the injection attacks. So there are several ways the attacker can target the victims. So we will continue the discussion of SQL injection in the next class. Before that, we are going to learn about some of the scraping tools, web scraping tools also. Okay, any questions are there? Any questions? So enter your name and USN in the chat window for the attendance.
Sir, there's a question
Yes,
in the chat box.
question is there, right? Yeah. What's your thoughts on latest threats to Elon Musk by anonymous hacker group? Uh, can you elaborate the question, Kishan? Latest threats to Elon Musk by anonymous hacker group. What is your thoughts on latest threats? So latest threats, how they are carrying out
Sir,
is usually, yeah.
sir, due to his tweet on cryptocurrency, so the value
Ah,
of cryptocurrency gone down by at least $1 billion, sir. So the hackers are saying that due to your tweet, many are lost their money. So we will not target you. That's what he's asking.
can you repeat the answer?
No, sir. Due to his tweet on cryptocurrency, so the
Okay,
value of cryptocurrency has gone down a lot. So
okay,
hackers are saying that you made you made the value of the currency down and many people lost their money. So from
okay.
now we will attack you, your site, your company. That's what he is asking.
Oh, okay. So usually to avoid unwanted breaches, the blockchain came into existence actually uh, to to avoid the tampering of the data. Nowadays, in the real estate market, one same asset is in the name of several parties. Then again, it is transferred by some other properties to someone. To avoid such kind of chain of actions, blockchain technology came into existence. Not only for the currencies, one term cryptocurrency is one terminology it is used, but blockchain usage is high, very high, because a broad technology. It also solves the some of the data breaches issues. It was earlierly it was faced, right? Okay, so this is cyber world. This world is cyber world. We are living in cyber. There is no particular solution, one single solution for every threats. So it is keep on threats are keep on evolving. So new threats will come up, and new solutions will come up for that. This is endless cyber war, right? Uh, there is no technology to protect 100%. If you protect 100% the system, that system or environment may not be used anywhere in this world. Okay. Am I answering?